If you went to boarding school in Nigeria, there is a good chance you've heard this sound in a dark corridor at night. Koi, 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 the slow, echoing click of high heels on a hallway floor when nobody is supposed to be walking. The owner of those footsteps is Madame Koi Koi, one of West Africa's most famous school ghosts, said to haunt dormitories, bathrooms, and stairwells after lights out. Her story has spread so widely that versions of the legend now appear in Ghana and other African countries under different names, all centered on a vengeful woman in red shoes whose arrival you can hear before you see. Like most urban legends, Madame Koi Koi has more than one origin story. In many Nigerian tellings, she begins as a very stylish teacher at a federal boarding school, known for her beauty, her strict discipline, and her love of bright red high-heeled shoes. Whenever she walked down the hallway, the sharp sound of her heels on the floor announced her approach, koi, koi, a sound that students came to associate with trouble. Some versions say she was simply vain and cruel, beating students for small mistakes and humiliating those who answered questions wrong in class. In other tellings, she's portrayed as a professional but harsh disciplinarian, always assigned to the most difficult or badly behaved students, which made her deeply unpopular. Either way, the legend agrees that one day, she finally went too far. She allegedly slapped a female student so hard that she injured the girl's ear, an incident that made parents complain and forced the school authorities to fire her. From here, the story forks into different paths, but all of them end in violence. In one version, Madame Koi Koi leaves the school in rage, still wearing her red heels, and on the journey home is killed in a car accident. As she dies, she vows she will return to the school for revenge on the children who mocked her and the staff who dismissed her. In another, darker branch of the legend, the students themselves take matters into their own hands. They corner her one night, gag her so she cannot scream, and beat her to death later, dumping her body over the school fence to make it look like a robber attacked her. Whichever ending you hear, the result is the same. The school gets rid of the teacher, but not of her presence. After her death, students begin to report hearing her heels clicking up and down the dormitory corridors long after lights out, even though no adult is on patrol. Doors are said to open by themselves, toilets flushed when no one is inside, and those who disobey curfew, sneak out of bed or wander into the bathroom alone at 2 a.m. may glimpse a woman in red shoes at the end of the hallway. Before we go deeper into how this legend spread across Africa and what it might really mean, quick reminder, if you like deep dives into real folklore and creepy school stories like this, take a second to like the video, subscribe, and turn on notifications. It tells the algorithm you want more long-form mysteries and helps this channel keep going. In most tellings, you always hear Madame Koi Koi before you see her. The sound koi is sometimes described as coming from a single heel, as if she lost one shoe in the accident or during the student's attack, and has been searching for it ever since. Students say the noise starts faint at the far end of the corridor and grows louder, echoing off the tiles or concrete floors as it comes closer to their dorm door. Some versions warn that if you look directly at her face, you will vanish or go mad. Others say she simply beats disobedient students the way she did in life. The legend has been powerful enough that schools across Nigeria and beyond have local sightings of Madame Koi Koi, each adding their own twist. In day schools, she is said to haunt the toilets and to target students who come to school too early or leave too late, punishing those who linger on campus when they should be safely at home. In Ghana, a similar figure appears as Madame Moke, also associated with high heels and harsh discipline. Modern retellings on TikTok, YouTube Shorts, and horror blogs continue to update her image, placing her in contemporary hostels, and even turning her into the central villain of short films and streaming series episodes. Folklorists and cultural writers note that Madame Koi Koi is more than just a ghost story. She is also a social tool. Boarding schools, especially the federal unity schools founded in Nigeria in the 1960s, bring together children from different regions and often rely on senior students to help enforce discipline in crowded dorms. In this environment, a legend about a ghostly teacher who prowls the corridors at night, punishing anyone who breaks the rules, works very well as a way to keep younger students in line without needing adults on every floor. Some researchers argue that Madame Koi Koi began as an oral tale invented by students and staff to scare children into staying in bed, respecting curfew, and not sneaking off to meet friends or lovers after lights out. At the same time, The story reflects changing attitudes toward teachers and corporal punishment. Earlier versions paint Madame Koi Koi as an almost cartoonishly evil woman who enjoyed beating children for no reason, echoing memories of real teachers who abused their power in the days when caning and slaps were accepted in many schools. More recent retellings sometimes give her a tragic background. In some Ghanaian or East African variants, she is locked in a closet as a cruel prank by students and dies accidentally, turning her into a victim of bullying rather than a pure villain. In these versions, her haunting becomes a twisted form of justice, targeting unkind or disobedient students while leaving the respectful ones alone. Skeptical takes on the legend point out that, despite countless stories about Madame Koi Koi, there is no documentation of a real teacheress death that clearly matches all the details of the myth, and that the timeline often shifts to fit each school's history. The clicking heel sound can usually be explained by ordinary sources. A late-moving staff member, creaking pipes, lockers, shoes on tiles, especially in echoey dormitory buildings, where noises travel in strange ways at night. From this angle, Madame Koi Koi is what you get when natural sounds. Strict rules, teenage imagination, and the fear of punishment all mixed together in the dark. But for many former students, the emotional impact of the story is real. Whether or not the ghost is in interviews and personal essays, adults who grew up with the legend describe lying rigid in their bunks, too scared to go to the bathroom because they were sure they could hear Koi coming closer. Others remember seniors using the threat of Madame Koi Koi to control juniors. If you Dante, keep quiet. She will come, effectively outsourcing discipline to a supernatural authority. Even those who never saw or heard anything unusual often say the legend bonded them with classmates. Swapping Madame Koi Koi's stories at night became a rite of passage in itself. Today, Madame Koi Koi has stepped beyond the dormitory into popular culture. She appears in short stories, horror podcasts, blog essays, and movie reviews, and was recently adapted into a Nollywood-style streaming film where her backstory and motives are further embellished. Her image has evolved from a flat symbol of punishment into a more complex figure who can represent injustice, trauma, abuse of power, and the haunting weight of school memories. In the end, whether you believe in ghosts or not, the sound of Koi in the dark tells you a lot about the place where it is heard. It speaks of crowded dormitories, of children far from home, of strict systems that sometimes cross the line into cruelty, and of the way stories can turn those fears into a single, unforgettable figure. Madame Koi Koi may never have existed as a living person exactly the way the legend describes her, but in the minds of generations of students she is as real as the footsteps they swore they heard outside their door. If you've ever heard a version of Madame Koi Koi, or had your own school ghost story, share it in the comments. Those local details are what keep these legends alive. And if you want more deep dives into real folklore and bizarre school mysteries from around the world, don't forget to like the video and subscribe so you don't miss the next haunting.